The vast orbital forum above Nexara Prime glowed with soft blue light. It was a place built to impress. Huge rings of seats floated in a perfect circle. Each ring held delegates from the oldest species in the galaxy. The air smelled clean and cold, like metal and nothing else. In the highest rings sat the Elder Council members. They were beings of pure light, no solid bodies, just shifting colors that spoke in deep, calm voices. Below them came the insectoid hives, tall creatures with many arms and clicking mandibles. Next were the crystalline ones, their bodies made of living glass that chimed when they moved. Lower still sat the methane breathers in sealed tanks, huge shadows swimming in green gas. And on the very bottom ring, almost hidden in shadow, was one small chair for humanity. Earth had joined the Galactic Concord only 12 years earlier. Most species saw humans as loud newcomers, short-lived, emotional, always arguing among themselves. They had funny hair on top of their heads, and no natural armor or extra limbs. Many thought humans would stay quiet and grateful just to be allowed in the room. Ambassador Captain Mara Voss sat in that single chair. She was 48 years old, not tall, not short. Her dark hair was cut short and practical. Her gray eyes missed nothing. She wore a simple dark uniform with no medals, though she had earned many in her years commanding warships back home. Her face stayed calm, almost bored, as if she waited for a bus instead of facing the most powerful beings in known space. The meeting began with the usual speeches. The elder speaker, a being named Thalvorin, rose first. Its light form pulsed bright gold. "We gather today to seal the future," it said through every translator at once. "After 8,000 cycles of war and uneasy truces, we offer true peace. The Galactic Peace Accord will end conflict forever." A huge hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. Pages of glowing text floated there, thousands of lines in neat columns. The accord looked beautiful, like art made of words. It promised no more border fights. It promised shared mining rights on dead worlds. It promised one fleet to defend everyone, led by the Elder Council. It promised courts where disputes would be settled fairly. The delegates nodded and clicked approval. Some even clapped in their strange ways, tentacles slapping, crystals ringing, gas tanks bubbling. They had all signed versions of this document long ago. Signing meant safety. Signing meant the elders kept order. No one questioned it anymore. Thalvorin turned its light toward the bottom ring. "Ambassador Voss of Earth, as the newest member, you may sign first. Speak your acceptance." All eyes moved to Mara. Thousands of strange pupils focused on the small human woman. She did not stand right away. She stayed seated and pulled the hologram closer with a small gesture. The text scrolled slowly in front of her. She read line by line. Minutes passed. The chamber grew restless. A few delegates whispered. Some laughed softly. What could take so long? The words were simple. Mara finally looked up. She stood slowly. Her voice came clear and even through every translator. No anger, no fear, just fact. Earth will not sign this. The word "not" hung in the air like a stone dropped in still water. Ripples of shock spread outward. Insect mandibles froze mid-click. Crystals dimmed for a second. Methane tanks went quiet. Even the elder light flickered once, as if surprised. Thalvorin pulsed brighter. "Repeat your words, human. We may have mistranslated." "No mistranslation," Mara said. "Earth rejects the accord. In full." Now the chamber exploded with noise. Voices shouted over each other. Translators struggled to keep up. "Arrogant primitives," one insect hissed. "They think they know better?" A crystalline voice rang. "This is madness," another delegate boomed. A methane breather's tank bubbled angrily, fogging the glass. Thalvorin raised a beam of light to quiet them. The noise dropped, but tension stayed thick. "Explain your refusal," the elder said. Its tone sounded patient, like an adult talking to a foolish child. "This accord ends war. It protects the weak. It unites us against the dark between stars. Why refuse harmony?" Mara looked straight at the glowing form. She did not blink. "Because it is not harmony. It is control dressed as peace." She pointed at the hologram. "Look at Section 7. Demilitarization zones around every human world. Our ships must stay docked unless the Council approves. Section 12. Resource quotas. Earth colonies can take only what the Council allows. Section 19. Unified command. All our forces answer to your admirals. Section 23. Binding arbitration. If we disagree with any elder decision, we must obey or face sanctions. No appeal." She paused. Her voice stayed level. "You ask us to give up our fleets, our minds, our choices, our future. You ask us to trust strangers with our children's lives. Earth says no. We did not leave our planet, fight our wars, build our ships, just to become servants with nice titles." Silence fell again. This time, it felt heavier. No one had spoken to the elders like that in living memory. The last species to question the accord had been gently pushed aside until they agreed. No one had ever said no and meant it. A tall Khazari delegate stood. The Khazari were reptiles, 8 feet high, scales black as oil, eyes like hot coals. Their dominion had the strongest fleets after the elders. "You speak boldly for a weak race," it growled. "Your ships are toys. Your worlds are young. You will regret this insult." Mara met the Khazari's stare without moving. "We regret nothing yet. Insult was not my goal." Truth was. Thalvorin's light dimmed slightly, a sign of deep thought. "You understand the consequences? Sanctions, trade blocks, isolation, perhaps worse." "I understand," Mara said. "Earth has prepared for worse since the day we looked up at the stars." She turned to the rest of the chamber. "You all signed because you were tired of fighting, or afraid, or both. We are not tired. We are not afraid. We choose freedom over your version of peace. That is all." Mara stepped away from her chair. She walked toward the exit ramp. No guards moved to stop her. Not yet. The delegates watched in stunned quiet as the small human left the greatest assembly in the galaxy. Behind her, the hologram of the Accord still floated, untouched by human hands. Thalvorin spoke one last time, voice soft but clear. "This choice will echo across the stars, Ambassador Voss. We will see what echoes back." Mara did not turn around. The ramp carried her down and away. In the chamber, the noise started again. Louder, angrier. But something had changed. For the first time in 8,000 years, one voice had said no. And the galaxy listened. The ramp carried Mara Voss down from the main chamber in smooth silence. Behind her, the noise from the assembly grew louder. Shouts, clicks, angry bubbles from methane tanks. She did not look back. Her boots made soft clicks on the polished floor. The corridor ahead was wide and empty, lit by pale strips along the walls. Security drones hovered at the far end. Small silver orbs with red sensor lights. They watched her, but did not move closer. Not yet. Mara kept her face calm. Inside, her heart beat steady and strong. She had practiced this moment in simulations back on Earth. Say no. Walk away. Do not run. Running would make them think she was scared. She was not scared. At the end of the corridor stood a tall Khazari guard. Black scales gleamed under the lights. He carried a long energy lance that hummed faintly. His coal-red eyes narrowed as she approached. "Stop, human," he said in a low growl. The translator made it sound like grinding stones. "You do not leave until the elders allow it." Mara stopped 3 steps away. She looked up at him without fear. I am leaving now. Step aside. The Khazari laughed, a short, sharp hiss. You think you command me? Your fleet is nothing. Your world is young. You will wait here until you change your mind. Mara did not answer with words. She simply took one more step forward. The Khazari raised his lance. The tip glowed blue. Then a soft chime sounded in the air. A hologram appeared between them. It was the face of Earth's president, Elena Reyes. She looked straight into the camera. No smile, no anger, just calm certainty. Behind her stood the Joint Chiefs in full dress uniforms and the Admiralty Council in dark blue. The background showed the familiar windows of the Terran Command Center on Luna. Ambassador Voss, President Reyes said, voice clear and firm. You have delivered Earth's position. We have heard the response from the Concord. We confirm. Earth stands with you. The Galactic Peace Accord is rejected in full. All prior agreements with the Concord are now null and void. We will not negotiate under threat. We will defend our sovereignty by any means necessary. The hologram flickered once. Then it showed live feeds from across human space. Earth's home fleet hung in formation above Sol. Hundreds of sleek warships, engines hot, weapons arrays open. Smaller squadrons waited at every colony world. Alpha Centauri, Barnard Star, Proxima. Fighters swarmed like angry insects. Orbital stations spun slowly, railguns tracking distant targets. The Khazari guards stared at the images. His lance lowered by a few inches. The drones behind Mara stopped humming. Their red lights blinked green. Stand down. Mara spoke quietly. You heard the President. Step aside. The Khazari hesitated. Then he moved. Not fast, not angry. Mara walked past him without another word. She reached the shuttle bay. Her small diplomatic craft waited, sleek, gray, no markings except the small blue globe of Earth on the side. The hatch opened as she approached. Inside, her pilot, Lieutenant Chen, waited at the controls. Ready to go home, Captain? Chen asked. Home can wait, Mara said as she strapped in. First, get us clear of this station. Quiet jump if you can. Chen nodded. The shuttle lifted smoothly. No alarms sounded. No pursuit ships launched. The Concorde seemed too shocked to react right away. As the shuttle cleared the docking arms, Mara looked back through the viewport. The huge orbital forum looked small now, like a glowing toy against the black of space. Inside it, thousands of ancient species were still arguing about what one human had just done. The shuttle jumped, a brief flash of white, then stars again. They were in open space, heading toward the edge of Concorde territory. Mara leaned back in her seat. Send a tight beam to Earth Command. Tell them mission complete. Rejection delivered. No violence. Yet. Chen sent the message. Then he looked at her. They really backed you all the way, ma'am. No hesitation. Mara gave a small smile, the first since she entered the chamber. They always do, when it matters. Hours later, the news spread like fire through dry grass. On border worlds, human traders stopped loading Concorde cargo. Ships turned around and headed home. Embassies closed quietly. Human citizens on mixed stations packed their things and left without argument. The Khazari Dominion moved fastest. Their high command ordered a battle group to Proxima Centauri, the closest human colony. 30 heavy cruisers, support frigates, troop transports. The plan was simple. Arrive in force, demand Mara Voss return for trial, seize the system if needed, show the newcomers who ruled the stars. They jumped in system 3 days after the rejection. What they found was not a panic defense. Earth's home fleet waited in open formation, not hiding behind planets, not clustered for protection. Ships spread wide across the outer system. Every vessel broadcast the same short message on all open channels. This is Earth Home Fleet. We are not here to conquer. We are here to remind you. Do not mistake restraint for weakness. Turn back now. No further warning will be given. The Xari commander, Admiral Vroxus, stared at his screens. Scans showed human ships with power curves that made no sense. Engines hotter than Xari designs allowed. Shield harmonics unknown. Weapons, kinetic launchers, particle beams, something new that glowed strange purple. Ready, but not firing. Vroxus ordered a probe forward. A small scout ship moved closer to test human resolve. From beyond normal sensor range, far beyond what Xari thought possible, a single kinetic slug arrived. It traveled at 40% light speed. No warning shot, no dramatic flare, just a clean hit. The scout's engine section vanished in a silent white flash. The rest of the hull tumbled away, dead. No human ship had moved. No energy signature spiked. The shot came from somewhere in the dark between stars. Vroxus felt cold under his scales. He had fought pirates, rebel fleets, even elder enforcers in his long career. He had never seen a weapon strike like that. Silent, precise, impossible to trace. He opened a channel. "Human Commander, identify yourself." A woman's voice answered, not Mara's, but calm in the same way. "This is Admiral Lin, Earth Home Fleet. State your business, Admiral Vroxus." "We come to enforce Concord law. Your ambassador insulted the elders. She must return." Admiral Lin's reply was short. "Ambassador Voss acted under full authority. Earth rejects your authority. Leave this system, or we will make you leave." Vrox looked at his tactical officer. The human fleet had not powered weapons higher. They had not closed range. Yet every Khazari sensor screamed danger. Unknown variables, unknown range, unknown limits. He gave the order quietly. "All ships, full reverse. Prepare for jump-out system." The Khazari fleet turned slowly. No shots fired. No insults traded. They simply left. Word of the withdrawal reached the rest of the galaxy within hours. On Nexara Prime, Thalvoran watched the reports in silence. The chamber was quieter now. No one shouted. They whispered. One crystalline delegate spoke softly. They did not fire first, but they could have ended the fleet. An insectoid clicked agreement. "Their ships, different, stronger than we thought." Thalvoran pulsed dim gold. "We underestimated them, again." Across human space, people watched the same feeds. In bars on Mars, in schools on New Shanghai, in homes on Old Earth, they saw their fleet stand ready, saw the Khazari leave. They did not cheer loudly. They nodded, quiet pride, because when one human said no, the rest answered the same way, and they meant it. The weeks after the Khazari fleet turned back felt like the calm before a storm. The galaxy waited. Earth waited. Everyone knew the Concord would not let one small species walk away without punishment. First came the words. Official messages arrived at every human embassy and colony office. The Elder Council declared sanctions. No Concord ships would carry human goods. No Concord credits would buy human tech. Trade stopped cold on the main routes. Human freighters sat empty in neutral ports. Prices on Earth jumped for rare metals and alien spices. People grumbled in markets, but no one panicked. Stocks of food and fuel stayed high. Factories kept running. Life went on. Then the blockade started. Concord patrol ships appeared at jump points near human colonies. They did not attack. They just sat there, big and silent, blocking the lanes. Any ship trying to leave or enter got scanned, delayed, sometimes turned back. On Proxima Centauri, cargo haulers waited days in long lines. Captains cursed over open channels. Kids on the colony worlds watched the sky and asked why the big ships were mean. Earth answered quietly at first. Small courier ships slipped through gaps using new jump math. paths the Concorde had never mapped. They carried messages, not cargo. One message went to every human world. Stay calm, prepare, we do not bow. The Concorde pushed harder. A mixed fleet, Khazari cruisers, insectoid carriers, even a few crystalline scouts, moved to secure the Epsilon Eridani system. 3 human colonies there mined heavy elements the galaxy needed. The plan was clear. Take control of the mines, force Earth to talk, make Mara Voss come back and sign. They jumped in at the edge of the system. 32 ships strong, weapons hot, but not firing. They broadcast demands. Surrender orbital defenses. Allow Concorde inspectors. Comply or face consequences. What answered was not surrender. From behind the gas giant Epsilon Eridani B, Earth's second fleet emerged. Not in a tight ball like most fleets. Ships spread wide in 3 layers. Fast scouts in front, heavy cruisers in the middle, carriers at the back. Engines glowed steady blue. No dramatic charge, just calm movement into open space. The lead human ship broadcast once, a deep male voice, no emotion. This is Admiral Reyes' Second Fleet. You are in sovereign human space without permission. Leave now. Last chance. The Concorde commander, a tall insectoid named Scaril, laughed through the translators. Your toys will break against our numbers. Stand down, or we take what we came for. No reply came. Instead, every human ship went dark at once. Lights out, engines cold, sensors dropped to minimum. They vanished from normal scans like ghosts. Where did they go? His sensors officer clicked fast. Interference fields. Unknown type. We see nothing. Then the first hit came. Not from the front. Not from the sides. A single beam. Thin, violet, silent. Lanced through the void from behind the Concorde formation. It struck a Khazari frigate square in the reactor housing. The ship bloomed white for a second, then went black. No explosion. Just dead metal drifting. Another beam. Another ship. A crystalline scout lost its main drive. Pieces spun away slow. The Concorde fleet turned in panic. Guns searched empty space. Nothing there. A third beam. An insectoid carrier lost half its wing. Screams filled their channels. Return fire, Zikaral ordered. They fired blind. Energy lances stabbed into darkness. Missiles chased shadows. Nothing hit. Then the human ships lit up again, all at once. They had moved, jumped short distances inside the system, without beacons. Now they sat close, weapons hot, shields up. Railguns spat kinetic rounds at speeds that bent light. Particle beams cut clean through armor. Small drones swarmed out from carriers, each carrying one-shot missiles that ignored shields. The Concorde line broke in minutes. A Khazari cruiser tried to ram a human heavy. The human ship sidestepped with thrusters no one thought possible. A countershot from point-blank range tore the cruiser open like paper. Debris rained on the colony below, harmless, controlled burnup. Zikaral watched his fleet fall apart. Half his ships dark or drifting, the rest turning to flee. He opened a channel. Cease fire. We withdraw. The human guns stopped. Silence returned. Admiral Reyes' voice came back, calm as before. Leave. Do not return. Next time, we do not warn. The Concorde ships jumped out. Fast. Messy. Some left damaged hulls behind. News traveled faster than the ships. On Nexara Prime, the chamber sat quiet. Delegates stared at hollow feeds of the battle. Wreckage floated in Epsilon space. Human ships stood guard, untouched. Thalvorin pulsed slow gold. Their weapons, they hide power. They choose when to show it. A Varani delegate, small, furred, long ears, spoke up. They could have destroyed the fleet. They did not. Why? Mara Voss, now back on Earth but still watched by every spy drone, gave no interviews, but her words from the chamber echoed in minds. We are not tired. We are not afraid. On border worlds, whispers started. The Trell, quiet traders with fast scout ships, sent a small delegation to a neutral station near Sol. They did not ask for alliance. They asked questions. Why did you say no? One Trell asked a human merchant over drinks. The merchant shrugged. Simple as that. The Trell nodded slow. Many of us signed without reading all lines. We were tired of war. The human smiled thin. We read everything. Twice. More delegations came. Not big ones. Small. Careful. The exiled Yilthar sent a single ship. The small feline species had lost their homeworld to Concord peacekeeping long ago. They wanted to know if Earth would help them take it back. Earth said no to war, but yes to talk. Build your strength, Mara told their envoy in a private call. When you are ready, ask again. Cracks appeared in the old order. On a dozen worlds, protests grew. Not violent, quiet marches. Signs in alien scripts. Read before signing. Freedom, not control. Concord guards watched, but did not stop them. For the first time, they looked unsure. Inside the Elder Council chambers, hidden deep in a starless nebula, Falvorine met with the other elders. Light forms flickered in worry. They do not attack, one said, yet they win. They show strength only when pushed, another answered. They wait. Falvorin dimmed. We pushed. They pushed back harder. We must decide, more force or new path. No answer came easy. On Earth people worked. Factories built more ships. Engineers tested new drives. Scientists mapped jump paths the galaxy had never seen. Kids in schools learned old stories of defiance. Sparta, small islands against empires. Lone voices saying no. In a quiet room on Luna, Mara Voss met with the president. They will try again, Reyes said. Mara nodded. Let them. We are ready. Outside the window, Earth turned slow and blue. Ships guarded the skies, not to conquer, but to protect. The galaxy watched and learned. When humans said no, they did not say it alone. They said it together. The months after the Epsilon Eridani fight changed everything slowly, like ice melting in spring. The galaxy did not explode into war. No fleets clashed across star systems. Instead, quiet things happened. Small things. Things that grew bigger every day. First, the protests started on the smaller worlds. On Trell Prime, a green planet of rolling hills and fast rivers, traders gathered in the main square. They carried signs written in glowing script. Read the fine print. No more chains. The Trell were not warriors. They were merchants with quick ships and sharp minds. For centuries they had paid Concord taxes, followed Concord rules, stayed quiet. Now they marched, not angry, calm. Police watched from the edges but did not stop them. One old Trell elder spoke to a crowd under the twin suns. We signed because we were afraid, he said. We are not afraid anymore. Similar crowds appeared on Varani worlds, tall crystal spires where the air sang with chimes. On methane stations floating in gas giants. Even on some Khazari border colonies, where scales gleamed under harsh lights, workers whispered instead of shouted. The Concord had always said, obey or suffer. Now suffering looked different. It looked like humans standing their ground and winning without destroying everything. Delegations began to arrive at neutral stations near human space. Not armies, not diplomats in fancy robes. Small groups, careful groups. The Trell sent 3 traders in plain ships. They met human captains in a quiet docking ring above a dead moon. No guards, no weapon scans. A Trell named Lyrak spoke first. Her fur was silver gray, her eyes bright. We want to understand, she said. Why did you say no when no one else did? The human captain, a woman with short black hair and steady hands, poured tea from a simple pot. "Because we looked at the words," she answered, "not just the pretty cover. The Accord takes your choices. It gives them to the elders. We do not give our choices away." Lirak nodded slowly. "Many of us never read past the first pages. We trusted. Now we wonder." More came. The exiled Yilthar arrived next. Tall, cat-like beings with soft fur and long tails. Their homeworld had been taken by Concord peace forces 200 years ago. They lived in refugee camps on cold moons. A Yilthar elder named Kesh met Mara Voss herself on a small station called Haven Point. Mara had come alone, no guards, no fleet behind her. Kesh bowed low. "We lost everything to their peace," he said. "Will you help us take it back?" Mara looked at him for a long time. "We do not start wars for others," she said. "But we will not stop you from fighting for what is yours. Build your ships, train your people. When you are strong, ask again. We will talk then." Kesh left with hope in his eyes. Not promises, but possibility. Words spread through hidden channels, not loud broadcasts. Quiet messages between traders, between captains, between friends. Humans did not demand followers. They did not build empires. They offered something simple, a different way. One evening on a trade hub called Crossroads, a spinning ring where 50 species met, Mara Voss spoke in a small room to a mixed group. 20 delegates sat around a round table. Trell, Varani, Ilthar, even a few brave Khazari who came alone and without uniforms. Mara stood. No notes, no hologram, just her voice. "The old Accord freezes everything," she said. "No one grows, no one changes. The elders stay on top forever. We offer something else. Call it what you want. A loose group, no central boss, no forced fleets, no quotas on what you mine or build. Rules are simple. Do not attack first. Trade freely if both sides agree. Respect borders. Help if you choose to help. Leave if you want to leave." A Varani delegate, body like living quartz, rang softly. "No one commands," Mara said. "Not us. Not you. Not the elders." The room stayed quiet for a long minute. Then Lirak spoke. "The Trell will sign this new charter. Not today, soon. We need to talk to our people, but we will." One by one, others nodded. Not all. Some left the room silent. Some said they would think more. But the seed was planted. Back on Nexara Prime, the chamber felt colder. Fewer delegates came to meetings. Some seats stayed empty. The Elder Council met in secret rooms. Falvorin's light burned low. "We lose them slowly," one elder said. "Not with guns, with words." Another pulsed angry red. "We should strike now, crush the human worlds before more join." Falvorin dimmed. "Strike, and we prove their point, that we rule by fear. Wait, and we may lose everything." They waited. On Earth, life moved forward. Factories built new ships, not for conquest, but for protection. Schools taught children about the old galaxy and the new one being born. People watched news feeds from distant worlds. They saw protests. They saw small ships with new flags, simple designs, often just a circle broken by a line, meaning free choice. Mara Voss rarely appeared in public now. She worked from a small office on Luna. She read reports. She talked to envoys. She drank too much coffee. Sometimes she looked out at the blue planet below and smiled a little. One day a message came from the Trell, short and clear. "We signed the Terran Accord. First Fleet arrives next month for joint training. Not alliance, partnership." More messages followed. Varani, Ilthar, a small group of methane breathers who had waited centuries for change. Even one Khazari clan that broke from the Dominion and asked to talk. The old Concord still stood. On paper it ruled dozens of sectors. In truth, its power shrank every week. Patrol ships returned to bases empty-handed. Tax collectors found closed ports. The elders spoke less often. Their light seemed thinner. In a bar on New Shanghai, a crowded human colony with bright lights and loud music, a young pilot raised a glass. To the woman who walked out, he said. Others laughed and drank, to Mara and to No. Across light years, on alien worlds, similar toasts happened in quiet corners. Not loud cheers, soft words. Because one human had said no, and others listened, and said yes to something better. The galaxy turned slower now, not frozen, not broken, changing. Years passed like quiet waves on a calm sea. The old Galactic Concord still existed in name. Its flags flew on ancient stations. Its laws were written in glowing books that no one opened anymore. The Elder Council met in their hidden nebula, but the rooms felt empty now. Fewer voices answered when Dalvoran spoke. Their light burned dimmer each cycle. The galaxy had changed without a single big war. No planets burned. No fleets died in bright flashes across the stars. Instead, people and species simply walked away, one by one, quietly. They chose the new path because it felt better, freer. The Terran Accord grew slowly. It never forced anyone to join. No armies marched to collect members. No loud speeches demanded loyalty. It stayed small and simple, a short document written in plain words that any species could read and understand. The main lines were always the same. Do not attack first. Trade if both sides want to trade. Respect each other's homes. Help if you choose to help. Leave if you want to leave. That was all. No big council chamber. No central fleet commander. No taxes to pay to elders who never left their nebula. Just a promise between equals. Many signed it. The Trell were first. Their fast scout ships now flew under a new flag, a silver circle with a broken line through it. They traded openly with human worlds. Their merchants laughed in human bars on New Shanghai. They shared stories of old Concord days and new free days. The Varani came next. Their crystal cities rang with new songs, songs about choice, about walking your own path. They sent engineers to Earth colonies. Humans sent doctors to Varani moons. They learned from each other. No one told the other how to live. The Ilthar took longer. They had old wounds. But they built ships in secret shipyards on cold asteroids. They trained fighters in hidden valleys. When they felt strong enough, they took back their homeworld. Not with human help in battle. Humans sent only words, supplies, maps, training manuals. The Ilthar did the fighting themselves. When they won, they raised the broken circle flag over their old capital. Then they signed the accord. Quietly, proudly. Even some Khazari clans joined. Not the whole Dominion, not yet. But warrior families tired of endless orders from above. They left their black-scaled fleets and came to human space. They trained alongside human marines. At first, they growled and argued. Later, they laughed together. They learned that strength did not always mean being the biggest or meanest. Sometimes it meant knowing when to stop. Earth stayed the same in many ways. People still worked hard. Kids still played in parks under blue skies. Cities still grew taller. But something new lived inside everyone. A quiet pride. Not loud, not boastful, just sure. When the galaxy tested them, they did not bend. Mara Voss retired years ago. She moved to a small farm on New Tasmania. The planet had green hills, clear rivers, and wide skies. She grew vegetables in neat rows. She kept chickens that followed her around the yard. She rarely spoke about the day she walked out of the chamber. When reporters came, she smiled politely and said, "That was a long time ago. Go talk to someone younger." But sometimes late at night, she sat on her porch with a cup of tea. She looked up at the stars. She remembered the faces in that huge room. The shock, the anger, The silence when she left. She remembered the president's voice saying, "We stand with her." She remembered the fleets waiting, the shots that did not miss. She smiled a little then. Not big, just enough. One day a young Trell envoy visited her farm. The Trell was nervous. He carried a small gift, a carved crystal that sang when you touched it. He bowed low. "Ambassador Voss," he said, "my people wanted you to know. We are grateful." Mara took the crystal. It felt cool in her hand. "Tell them thank you," she said. But they did it themselves. "We just said no first." The Trell left with a lighter step. Across the stars, younger species looked at humans differently now. Not with fear, not with pity, with respect, careful respect. They saw short-lived beings who built fast, fought hard when needed, and chose peace on their own terms. They saw a species that did not want to rule the galaxy. They just wanted to live in it, free. In schools on distant worlds, teachers told the story, not as legend, as history. A small woman stood in the Chamber of Stars, they said. She read the words, she said no, and when the galaxy tried to punish her people answered together. They did not conquer, they did not destroy, they simply stood, and the galaxy changed because of it. Children listened wide-eyed. Some asked, why did they back her? The teachers smiled, because when one human says no, the others say the same thing, and they mean it. On quiet nights, ships crossed the black between stars. Human ships, Trell ships, Varani ships, Yilthar ships. They flew side by side sometimes, not in formation, not under one flag, just going the same way. Trading, talking, living. The old Concord watched from far away. Falvoran still pulsed in the nebula, but its light was faint now. The elders spoke less, they argued less, they knew the truth. The galaxy no longer belonged to the old ones alone. It belonged to everyone who chose to walk their own path. And in the center of that new galaxy stood Earth. Not as ruler, not as king, just as one voice among many. A voice that had said no when it mattered most. And the stars were brighter for it. Mara Voss died many years later, peacefully, in her sleep, on her farm. No big parades, no statues ordered, just flags lowered halfway on human worlds, and on Trell ships, and Varani spires, and Ilthar cities. A small message went out across the Accord channels, from the President of Earth to all members. She said no, we said yes to her, and the galaxy is better because of it. No more words were needed. The stars kept shining. The paths stayed open. And freedom, real freedom, lived on.